What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Avengers Endgame. So we're going to be going over a bunch of potential leaks, plot points, revealed scenes, and a bunch of other stuff from future MCU movies. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any videos. Also, we are doing a Captain Marvel ticket giveaway. All you got to do is follow me on Instagram at Warstu and send me a direct message letting me know that you have done so. So let's get into the video. So like with all plot leaks that come from 4chan, Reddit, 4pleb and etc. Even Discord is now getting on the case. There's a Discord group for the Reddit for the Avengers 4 leaks. So you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. So this specific leak was sent to me on DM on Instagram, and I can't personally find it anywhere, but it did reappear on Reddit recently. So let's go over it. So it's going over a scene where Thanos has arrived on Xandar with the Black Order, and his army does not have the Infinity Gauntlet on. Instead, he has his armor on, his double blade sword, although Thanos does not have any of the Infinity Stones yet. The Avengers are still losing to him and the Black Order, which is pretty interesting because if you cross-reference this supposed scene with what was said by one of the co-writers, Christopher Marcus, he explained this. We wrote a version of Thanos attacking Xandar, and it had a similar purpose in the script to what Nowhere does now. It was a place where Thanos and Gamora encountered each other, but the fact of the matter is, you know exactly what if Thanos went to Xandar to get the stone. You know what happened. It was a big battle. He got it. So I'm going to debunk this part because they've openly admitted they were thinking about putting a scene into Avengers Infinity War, but then they scrapped it. But then a supposed leaked description for a Xandar scene occurs. Now, I'm not going to say they don't go to Xandar, but is it like Marvel doing this misleading marketing or a very indifferent way of marketing? Now, we do know, I think some of it has credibility. We do know that Thanos will be back in the armor. He will have the double blade Infinity Blade. Now, it goes on to say, the Xandarians are getting defeated by the Chitauri and Outriders, and the Avengers are getting defeated by Thanos and his Black Order. So even without the Infinity Gauntlet, the Avengers would struggle to take out Thanos and the Black Order. Well, not really the Black Order, because it doesn't specify where Thor is, because Thor came down during the Wakandan scene in Avengers Infinity War and cleared the field. So then it goes on to say, Captain America, Iron Man, regroup. And Steve tells Tony that they're not going to win this battle. Tony says, what do you propose? We do. We're out of time. It's down to the wire. Captain America replies, we should cut the wire. Right, as Steve says this to Tony, Thanos shows up right in front of Iron Man with his helmet, forms around his head, and Captain America lifts up the shield. But we then see Captain Marvel fly in and punch Thanos in the face with an energy blast, which sends him flying. See, this is pretty interesting because Captain America is always talking about down to the wire, we should cut the wire. So that is a pretty interesting statement. So a plot leak I went over quite recently on the channel suggested that yes, Captain Marvel will come in and she will defeat Thanos quite easily. But is that really the direction that Marvel are going to go by? Because we know Captain Marvel will be leading Phase 4. She will be the face. She will be the strongest Avenger. So it's a pretty interesting description so far. Captain Marvel then gives Tony a metal case that contains the Power Stone in it. Tony gives it to War Machine, and Rhodey puts the case into a huge device. The end of the scene is this huge white blast that eventually takes up all of the screen and ends the scene, and that's it for the leaked description. So like I said, this came from, I don't actually know where it originally came from, guys, let's be honest. It is on Reddit, but it was sent to me, so it doesn't really go on about much. But it is very interesting because it's worded like Thanos doesn't have the Infinity Gauntlet, he has none of the stones. They're attacking Xandar, but like we said before, one of the writers explained why there wasn't that scene in Avengers Infinity War. Because we were told Thor turned up and said, yeah, Thanos wiped out Xandar last week. He's already got that. So that's like a throwaway line. But it is interesting, and it's not very in depth. But don't worry, guys, we do have some more info to go over. So guys, let me know, what do you think is going on this scene? But it is interesting when Tony says, what do you propose we do? Because we're out of time, we're down to the wire. Now that is like a reference from something that Captain America would say. It's a Captain America line from the first Avenger, most likely. And we are going to get a lot of Tony Stark and Steve Rogers relationship moments. Because you've got to remember, this movie is going to be wrapping up the culmination of 10 years in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they're not going to wait 10 years to build up the next big villain. So I can really see, I've said this since she was announced, since they said Captain Marvel will be the strongest Avenger, I can really see Captain Marvel coming in, punching Thanos in the face and wiping him out like he's nothing. I said that ample at times. So when is this going to be set? Because if he hasn't got any of the Infinity Stones at all, which is very weird, he's got no Infinity Stones. Because at the top of it says he doesn't have the Infinity Gauntlet on. Instead, he has got the double-bladed sword. Thanos does not have any of the stones yet. So are they traveling back into time to when Thanos went to get the first stone? It's kind of misleading, and obviously, like, I've missed a bit off, but supposedly, you know, when people work on movie sets, you know, when you go to media screenings and stuff, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. If someone did sign a non-disclosure agreement, why would they post about it online? See, I'm just trying to see, is this legit? Because it's interesting. It's a new scene. We're not talking about it. It would be nice to see a backstory of Xandar. Even if we don't actually get this in the movie, we're going to have to kind of find out what exactly happened on Xandar. So this is from a different source, but it's very interesting. So careful for spoilers. So Captain Marvel's first post-credits scene will obviously set up Endgame. The second will tease the Eternals. Now for me, this makes sense. Obviously, I really think Captain Marvel's going to get stuck in the quantum realm. And that's going to be the post-credit scene, and she's going to be stuck, and that's where she's been all this time. But the second teasing the Eternals, the fact that Thanos is one of the Eternals, the fact that the Eternals is going to be set hundreds of thousands a year before this movie, doesn't really make any sense to me why they would do this. And this is a pretty interesting topic next. So, Endgame might not have a post-credit scene, and everyone's gonna be like, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake, Warstu, this is fake. But hang on a minute, Kevin Feige literally said we are marketing this movie very differently. So if it's a 3-hour plus movie, the movie could end with an end credit scene, as in the ending scene, and then there's nothing else, because there is no talk about Avengers 5 unless they're going to set it up. Then this goes on to say, post-Avengers Endgame, there will be no more phases. Instead, the MCU will be split into 2 different distinct categories, street level and cosmic. Once the Fox Disney deal is complete, the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom will be links to between both of them, which is kind of similar to what I said in one of my theories when I said that the Thanos finger snap sent half the universe to dusty people, and then I said half of them were sent to another like reality, and the ones that are still alive are there, and there's a bridge between them inside the quantum realm. So maybe that could be true. I don't really think this is going to be the overarching storyline. The movies won't always be linear either. Some will be prequels like Eternals and Black Widow, and some will be flash forwards. Now, yeah, this is true. The Black Widow movie will be set in the past, the same as the Eternals movie. This is why I don't think the Captain Marvel movie needs to tease the Eternals movie. But saying that, this is set in the 90s, but it's coming out in 2019. So from a kind of year we're in, it makes no sense. So Spider-Man Far From Home will kick off the main story arc from a street level side. The overarching villain will be Norman Osborn. Big storylines will be Dark Adventures, Dark Reign, and Siege. Yeah, I've got a different video coming out about the Sinister Six and all that kind of stuff, so I won't go into too much detail. So Guardians 3 was going to set up the cosmic side, but it looks like that's going to be Eternals now. No word on the big arcs yet. But Adam Warlock will be important, and Anisis will be a recurring villain, a La Loki. I'm not really sure what a La Loki means. I hope they don't mean that like Annihilus is replacing Loki. Scrolls will pop up from time to time, but there are no plans to do the Secret Invasion anytime soon. So yeah, the Captain Marvel director did say that there is a secret Scroll somewhere, and it is in the pipeline. They want Spider-Man to have 4 movies instead of 3. There is no guarantee it will happen. They want to build up a new incarnation of the Sinister Six, but they want an A-lister like Keaton or Jake Gyllenhaal for pretty much all of it, so it'll be easier. Black Panther 2 is having some troubles at the moment because they can't decide a villain. Production may be delayed. Doctor Strange 2 could begin filming late summer or early fall. There are no plans to introduce Miles Morales yet. After the success of the Into Spider-Verse, they may renegotiate with Sony so they can keep him while Marvel gets exclusive rights to Peter. Well, obviously Sony has the rights to the Spider-Man characters, all of them, I presume, so that's interesting. So guys, let me know what you think about this supposed Xandar leaked scene, but it doesn't really give away much. Like I said, they did have a storyline for that in Infinity War, and they scrapped it. Maybe they're just going to use the original one inside Avengers Endgame, but if this is the case, this pretty much confirms that it's a time-traveling movie and a lot of people will be sad. And then we went over a bunch of details. I don't really believe there's going to be no Endgame post-credit scene, but it is interesting, guys. So I'll go over a kind of scene description, I guess you could say, synopsis. And then we went over the future of the MCU. And if that is the future, it's pretty cool, but I don't like the idea of a street-level kind of MCU and then a cosmic side. I was under the interpretation when James Gunn was still with it and was pushing the cosmic side, that it was all pushing cosmic, and obviously we can have street level as well, but they don't need to split them in two. That's a bit weird. Anyway, guys, if you do want to enter that competition giveaway to win Captain Marvel tickets, because we're in February now, it's getting very close, make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at Warstu, DM me to let me know that you're entering, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.